Welcome in to another edition of Wolves Weekly. My name is John Potter, the Director of Athletic Media here on the campus of Western Oregon. Thanks for joining us today. On this episode, we'll focus heavily on the women's soccer program as we'll be joined by Steve Ancheta, the head coach, and have our first athlete spotlight of the year. So we'll be joined by Savanna Bogan, the senior out of Seattle. That plus the Wolfpack rally all wrapped up in one nice tidy bow as we stick here on Wolves Weekly. As promised, we're joined by the head coach of the women's soccer program here at Western Oregon, Steve Ancheta. Steve, welcome to Wolves Weekly.
I'm glad to be here.
Glad that you are here. 8-8-1 in your 2015 campaign and 4-7-1 in conference, but this is a team that, with a couple of bounces going the other way, could have been a 10 or 12 win season. How do you assess the campaign that you had in the fall?
Well, I think just overall as a coaching staff and the players, I think we all wanted to do a little bit better. We wanted to make the playoffs. So we had a couple tough losses that didn't get us those little extra points. But I thought we were as competitive as anybody in the league, and night in, night out, we gave it our best shot every night. But we were in the fight every night. So that was exciting for the coaches and the players.
What were some of the moments that stick in your mind that made this 2015 season special? What are going to be the memories that 10, 15 years down the road you're going to remember about this squad?
Yeah, they just never gave up, and they fought through a lot of parts. And I even could just go to the end of the season where, right towards the end, they kind of found out they maybe were not going to make the fourth place spot, and played some of their best soccer, and actually had to play Canada right at the end and bump them out in overtime, and they were going to be in the playoffs. So they had a lot to play for, but we just showed a lot of pride and really worked hard for each other. So that's what we're kind of laying our hat on here as a program as well.
Coming off that win against Simon Fraser to end the season, what are the most exciting points or parts of your team that are coming back? And who do you think can have that kind of breakout season for your team next year?
Well, I've got a nice solid core coming back, and they're going to be a good senior core of group and coming. So, I think that's where you got to build off of first. And, I don't like to put too much pressure on just players individually, because I think it's a nice group that can lead us. There's some players offensively, to Taylor Higa, to Allison Sprecher, to Savanna Bogan. These are girls that will have chances to play some good minutes, maybe in the offensive part of the game. And the key part there is just us making sure we spread the ball around and hopefully have a bunch of goal scorers to help us be successful on the offensive side.
With that core coming back, as of this taping, you've already signed 6 student athletes to come in and help with the program. What were some of the areas that you felt needed to be improved on in focusing on that class that you just signed?
I think that overall our job here is just to make sure we bring in quality student athletes and the core of them of just coming from good backgrounds, good playing backgrounds, and they can come in here and be real versatile athletes too. And that's what we were looking for, players that can play at a lot of different spots and not just one. And maybe just help our depth of our team as well. And still not done yet. We've got a couple maybe add-ons we need to do in the next month or so, but to add a little more depth maybe in the back. But we look forward to bringing in that new class to join our group right now.
You mentioned versatility as a main factor in your recruiting. Do you, in your coaching philosophy and your recruiting philosophy, take into account that you are in a really tough conference? You've got teams that are at the top of the conference in Seattle Pacific and in the Western Washingtons that made it to those final rounds this year to fill in spots not only to help your team, but possibly compete with those teams that have made playoff runs in the past.
Well, that is key, because I feel that those type of programs that are very good, they have a lot of depth, and they have a lot of good players. And our league is tough. It's tough travel, and some of those games, Thursday, Saturday night games, we need players to be able to play maybe different spots or fill in or help out due to injuries or some situations during a match. But the more depth we can get, the better we're going to be to compete with some of those groups. So,
We're here with Steve Ancheta of the soccer program, now trying to turn your attention not only to the final recruiting pieces, but going towards the spring and building towards the fall season. What's your excitement level getting ready for this spring?
Spring is exciting to me because we get to get back out there a little bit more and get on the grass and start coaching again with them and having the full unit train together. And I can also just see their excitement build a little bit too. And setting up a few competitive games, on the spring level, which again, some Division I teams that are really going to push us to just be better players and a better team is exciting. And I know my team looks forward to knocking the ball around and getting ready for the fall season in August.
We focused a lot on the on-field stuff, but being at a university level, academics is obviously a priority as well. And your team for the third straight year picked up the academic award from the Coaches Association. You have to be proud with that. And how do you focus the program not only on succeeding on the field level, but also in the classroom as kind of a major profile of your program?
I think that goes back to recruiting a little bit first. I think that me and my other coach, Luke Babson, we do, like you said, we're looking for good students and to bring them in right away. And then hopefully that builds that, we're not just looking for the soccer player, and then I really give all the efforts and the pluses to my players. They get a lot of the job done to be in the classroom and push to be really good in their majors. And, to get those type of awards, and I think we had 12 on the All-GNAC this fall, too, which was another big plus to have 12 players on that academic award. We're excited for those things even more than just a soccer win, I guess, because that's the biggest picture.
I think we're excited all around for what's to come with this soccer program. And if you're interested in joining the soccer program as a player and a student athlete, the team will be holding a spring ID camp on Saturday, March the 26th. You can find out information about that camp and the registration form online on the camps page at WOUWolves.com. Steve Ancheta, we thank you for the time.
Thank you.
And we'll have more right after this on Wolves Weekly. Back for our first athlete spotlight of this new incantation of Wolves Weekly. Joining us from the women's soccer program is your name?
Savanna Bogan.
Your hometown?
Seattle, Washington.
And what class will you be heading into your 2016 season?
This is my senior year.
The senior year, gotta love that. Savanna, talk about how the team has kind of progressed from the end of the season after you guys knocked off Simon Fraser to end the regular season through your workouts heading into the spring.
I think we ended the season with the Simon Fraser win with a lot of excitement and a lot of just energy to get better. Yeah. And so I think we took that into the winter workouts, and we're just working hard and getting fit, keeping our touch on the ball, and just enjoying each other's company.
There's only so many weights that you can lift and drills that you can do. How excited are you and the team to get back on the field here in the spring coming up and get ready to play some games against D1 competition? Your coach has mentioned Oregon's on the schedule, Portland State's on the schedule. How exciting is that for you as a player?
It's so exciting. We're super excited just to get back on the field again and breathe the fresh air, and instead of working out in the gym and pumping the iron out. And we're just super excited to just see what winter workouts and what we worked for and push forward, and not only for the spring but the fall as well.
On a side note, what do you bench?
Oh, let's not talk about that.
We'll move on. Talk about this upcoming season. You've got this GNAC is brutal. When you got Western Washington, who made it to the national semifinals and just rolled over people this year. Seattle Pacific historically is a great team. Simon Fraser, you knocked out of the GNAC tournament, a team that has made waves in the past. Your preparation now, how is it going to make you guys better in the fall?
Our preparation is just to work hard. We're competitors, and our GNAC conference is competitive. So we're just going to take it game by game and push forward. We can stay with anyone in the GNAC, and it's been proven that we can, and we're just going to fight for that.
As student athletes, you guys can be ambassadors for this school. I'm in my first year here, and I'm learning a lot of the culture of what makes Western Oregon special. Throughout your years here, what have been some of the memorable moments as not only a student athlete on the field, but maybe outside of the competition on the field that you will remember about Western Oregon and makes this place so special?
The people, the teammates that I have are incredible. Like, I wouldn't be able to survive in this town without them, and the coaching staff, of course, always keeps you level-headed, and I think that's what I'm going to hold on near and dear to my heart after I leave.
Savanna Bogan, she just survived our first Athlete Spotlight of the year. Savannah, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Stick with us. We'll have the Wolfpack Rally right after this timeout on Wolves Weekly. This week's edition of the Wolfpack Rally starts right now. The women's basketball program will close out their regular season with 2 home games. Thursday night, 7 p.m., hosting the Saints of St. Martin's. Then Senior Day, Saturday at 2 p.m., hosting Seattle Pacific, as we'll say a final goodbye to Michelle Bramajem, Kelsey Henry, and Emily Howie. The men's basketball regular season ends Thursday at Montana State Billings, but they'll continue to play on as the top seed in the upcoming GNAC tournament on March 3rd through the 5th in Lacey, Washington. The Wolves will have the first round bye and play their first game on Friday the 4th. We'll have all the information coming up soon on WOUWolves.com. Softball has their home openers next week here in Monmouth. On Saturday, March the 5th, they'll entertain St. Martin's for a doubleheader at 12 noon over on the softball field, then return to action the next day on Sunday the 6th against the Wildcats of Central Washington. Track and field has their indoor finales in the next couple of weeks. A final chance to qualify for nationals this week at the Seattle Pacific Final Qualifier up at Dempsey Indoor. Then those who qualify will go to the Division II Indoor National Championships in Pittsburgh, Kansas, hosted by Pittsburgh State. The outdoor season will actually start next week as well, with March 4th and 5th meets on the road at Linfield and Willamette. And that's your Wolfpack Rally for this edition of Wolves Weekly. We thank you for joining us for the second edition this season. The next time we join you, we will focus on the Diamond, as we'll join by softball head coach Lonnie Sargent, as well as the skipper of the baseball club, Kellen Walker. This is John Potter. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, go Wolves.